weed out as fast as possible, the first question they come back to is, we often don't know where to start. Google, in partnership with the World Food Program, created a technology called Sky. It's a disaster damage detection model. This instantly, once you have access to a pre and a post image, allows you to identify which buildings have been damaged in a particular area. If you overlay that with other data layers that might be either privately held via government social protection systems or publicly available like census data that has a sense of, say, socioeconomic vulnerability, if you overlay those two data sets, you have a really clean map of where are the areas that are poor, that have been hit hard by this particular disaster. Start there. I'm so glad that Katia Klinova was speaking beforehand, because we are now working hand in glove with UN Global Pulse, the Odisha program, to scale this technology. Now, let's think a little bit earlier in a disaster cycle. What if we can improve the ability to forecast weather? There's a team at Google DeepMind, which is a research unit within Alphabet, that has a publicly available model now called GraphCast, rapidly improving the ability to forecast severe weather disasters. We've also been working really closely with the World Food Program, several years in making now, to improve the ability to forecast weather in Eastern African countries. Now let's take one step further. Now if we can better forecast weather, can we better predict these disasters with longer lead time and more granularity? I'm so proud that we've been working with UN OCHA's Center for Humanitarian Data and the Humanitarian Data Exchange for years now to really get at what is needed to improve the ability to do predictive analytics. In these moments, in these environments, time is of the essence. The more time we have, the more time organizations can implement programs that not just save lives, but save livelihoods. Now, I'll give you an example of one specific hazard that we've been working on for years. Floods are the most common and deadliest of natural disasters, putting communities at risk. And for the past few years, Google Research has been applying AI to advance the state of flood forecasting. The Google Flood Forecasts are provided to the public in multiple ways, in partnership with organizations, governments, and the WMO. Now, where we come in, where my philanthropic team comes in, is we actively collaborate with the humanitarian aid organizations that can utilize this flood information to accelerate their anticipatory actions. We've been partnering with Give Directly, an aid organization that supports communities in need via unconditional cash transfers, and the International Rescue Committee to test how riverine flood forecasts and digital cash infrastructure could enable communities to receive payments in advance of flooding. We piloted our collaboration with Give Directly in Mozambique during Cyclone Freddy in March of last year, where Give Directly provided cash transfers to over 4,100 households based on the Google Flood forecasts, and with the IRC in Nigeria last summer. Now these pilots provided us with meaningful insights regarding the level of geospatial data and lead time aid organizations need to distribute cash to these communities. We are working to scale this work with these organizations, who jointly will be supporting over 7,000 households this upcoming flood season in Nigeria. An article just came out on Monday of this week in Fast Company that shares a bit more about this. I encourage you to read that if you're interested. But ultimately, to scale this effectively, we need partnerships. We need partnerships with the multilaterals, with governments that embed this as part of social protection systems. The digital infrastructure is there, or can be built in many places. We've seen how this can be done, but it's going to take collective willpower to really move the system from being an entirely reactive one on realized loss to a more proactive one to mitigate harms. At the end of the day, early disaster warnings are only as helpful as they prompt early action. This not only makes economic sense, most importantly makes human sense.
Thank you very much, Mr. Diaz, for outlining the numerous programs and models that Google.org has to support non-profit organizations and actors in terms of saving time and cost, but also in terms of rapid disaster detection, etc. Thank you very much again. Many thanks to all our